This is my ethical dilemma presentation. I chose scenario 3, and in this case, I am a police officer. While working afternoon shift, you decide to head home to take your break. While traveling down a road, you observe a vehicle crossing the center line and fog lines several times in front of you. You know that if you stop the vehicle, the operator will most likely be intoxicated, which would prevent you from your dinner. Being the dedicated officer you are, you decide to stop the vehicle, and upon contact with the female driver, you immediately recognize her as the wife of your captain in your department. While talking to her, she appears to be extremely intoxicated. How would you respond? And in this case, this is what I chose. This particular decision is very difficult for this certain officer. I believe the best thing for him to do in this case is to call his captain and explain to him the situation. He should be very understanding because if the officer didn't happen to pull her over, she could have been in extreme danger. The captain should be very thankful that you happened to pull her over. If you don't think that is the best decision for you because you are breaking the rules since you are supposed to treat everyone the same, then I believe you should get her into your police car and take her to the station, and upon driving, contact the captain and inform him of the situation. The Code of Ethics. In this certain ethical scenario, the Code of Ethics is important because as an officer of the law, they were required to demonstrate the right way as the public is. Just because the officer pulled someone over who was related to his captain, he is still required to do the same thing he is supposed to do with anyone else he pulls over. Ethics. The foundation of ethical decision-making involves choice and balance. It is a guide to discard bad choices in favor of good ones. Therefore, in ethical decisions, one of the first questions to consider is what a reasonable man would do in this situation. For the officer, he had to think about the choices in which he should do: arrest the chief's wife or contact him to have him come pick her up. Both choices are hard for the officer to decide on because either he would get in trouble with the chief and department for arresting the officer's wife, but since that is his job, that's what the best call for him to do. For those in criminal justice, public trust is an important part of being able to do the job effectively. When the public believes that those who enforce the law are not doing so in a fair, ethical way, cooperation between law enforcement and the public begins to erode. Discretion. Discretion is defined as the power or right to decide on or act according to one's own judgment. Elements of the criminal justice system, such as law enforcement, prosecuting attorneys, judges, corrections officers, and probation officers, are faced with discretionary decision-making throughout the criminal justice process. The process begins with the decision to arrest by the law enforcement officer in the field. Officers must use discretion when deciding to enforce the law when certain situations arise. This officer had to use discretion on figuring out what he was supposed to do in the situation with the chief's wife. I have not changed my mind on the situation, what I think the officer should have done. The only thing I would say that he is doing is letting the captain's wife get away with drunk driving. He is doing this for his own sanity because if he was to bring her to jail, he knows he would get in trouble, which is not right either. Anyone else that he pulled over and was drunk driving, he would give no question to bring them in or not. In this case, the officer did contact his captain's wife and inform him of the condition, of his wife's condition, and from there, he is letting him figure out what to do with her. Thank you.